All right, you grasshoppers. Here she is. She's back. The queen of podcasting. Now we're gonna have a contest, a podcasting contest. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
So I'm great. Yes. So just to refresh everybody, Jessica, I actually, that's right. I'm going to be responsible for finding you, for making you a star. That's what I'm. Okay.
Okay, I'll
So
give it to you.
I first saw Jessica on, I believe it was Instagram with her stuff, and very interesting story. Divorced woman, kids, business, and not just handling it all and getting through life, but really what I was impressed by with you is like you're looking for more too. You want to do more. You want to get better, right? And that's
Yeah, always.
so great to have you on. And I know that's I know I talk a lot with everybody with True Grit Life. That's one of the things you always want to do is try to get better in life all the time at everything you do. And it really doesn't matter what's going on in your life, your age. Like a lot of people say, "Well, geez, I'll wait for my divorce to get done, or I'll wait to get a raise, or I'll wait for this, or wait for that." Get out and do it, right?
I mean, those are the things I hate to hear because I think, in a way, when things are chaotic, there's so much opportunity to grasp at that moment, and you're kind of just biding your time if you're waiting for something to be perfect because
Yeah.
nothing's going to be perfect. Actually, imperfection's where the perfection is.
Right. Like I think you and I are the same way with like during this pandemic, instead of just sitting around, I tried to do things, get better, more opportunities, do more podcasts. So
Yeah.
we need to recap again in case people don't realize. So you got the barbershop going on.
Yeah.
How's that going? Just reopened, right? Just recently reopened?
Well, it started opening back up in June, so it's been a couple of months, but I mean, it's not back up to full speed. We have a lot of restrictions, and that's hampering the movement, of course, but
Right.
we're plugging away and we're just going to sit tight. And I think things will get back to normal at some point.
So you're out in Long Island. What's the name of the town again you're in with the barbershop?
Wantagh and Williston Park.
That's right. And the name of the barbershop is
Mad Men Barbershop.
Mad Men Barbershop. I like that. Where'd
Yeah.
you come up with that name?
Well, we like the show Mad Men, and it was
Oh,
like really popular at the time. It was 8 years ago,
yeah.
and but also it was like a double entendre because we started out on the South Shore of Long Island, which is heavily Italian.
Right.
So we did like a little mob theme, and it was like mad, like crazy, Mad Men, crazy
Right.
men.
Right.
So
Well, all men are crazy, aren't they? Aren't all men?
I think all people are crazy.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Very
Are
good.
any of us really normal? I don't think
I know.
so.
I know. Actually, I think when you're younger, you actually think that people are normal, and then as you get older, you realize, no, we're all
Oh
nuts.
yeah, it's hilarious how you laugh at your younger self as you get
Oh,
older. You're like,
yeah,
oh,
well,
ha, ha, ha. That was a
yeah,
cute thought, but
yeah.
no.
Nah, that's good. And then so now you're also a lawyer, and you had
Yes.
been working down on Wall Street, right? You were what were you doing? Kind of keeping people in line, weren't you?
Oh yeah, that's my job. I was on Wall Street for 10 years. I did regulatory work, so I worked for the stock exchange, enforcing all of their rules
Right.
against brokers who disobeyed them.
All right. That'd be a fun job.
It was so much fun. I loved it. It prepared me for so much in life. Little did I know how impactful that job would be on just me as a person and everything that I do next.
Yeah, that's like because we talked about that last show where it's like you're dealing these guys alpha males, and they hear this woman comes along telling them what to do and everything, and some of the attitudes were a little rough, but
Yeah, but that's something you have to deal with your whole life. So it was great experience to get out of the way in my younger days. Because as you get older, you kind of care less about what people think
yeah,
about you.
yeah,
But I think I got that in way earlier than I would have if I
yeah,
had just had a normal job.
definitely. And now you're starting to use the lawyer background to help other people start businesses and everything, right?
Yeah, so during COVID, like you were saying, I am not one to sit around and my businesses were shut down. And so, after my divorce, I started working on myself and my mindset. And I really, truly believe that mindset is so important to anyone's success. And I started doing yoga as a form of my fitness. Now, there's so many forms of fitness you can do, but to me, I chose yoga. That's what I was connected with. And so I think I'm working on myself all these years, right? But then COVID hits and kind of you have to put your money where your mouth is. Like, did all that work really stick, or was that just kind of like a fad? And for me, I just proved to myself that I really have changed over the past 5 years. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get my yoga instructor certification because that will help me eat up my time. And instead of sitting around and drinking like so many people did,
Yeah,
I was like, no alcohol. I'm going to do concentrate on fitness, get my mind stronger and stronger. I'm going to look even better after this is over, and I'm going to feel good about myself, and I'm going to help other people feel good. So I started doing like free yoga classes and everyone was kind of into it, like feeling like they needed something to help pick
Yeah.
them up. And I just think that that's so integrated and related to success as an entrepreneur. And I started to do some business coaching because I'm a lawyer, which brings a unique perspective to the coaching world. But also, I have this like fitness integration. I just feel that fitness and mindset are so closely related and play off of each other. So, my coaching method includes all of that: my legal background, my business knowledge, and my fitness angle also, because I think it's super important.
Right. I've got a good friend of mine I do another podcast with. He's down in Virginia Beach. He's a former in the Navy, and he does a leadership classes and everything. He talks about that a lot too, about how fitness is a very important part of all that, about you feeling good about yourself. And like I say to people all the time, there's mirrors in the gym, and I think it's not just okay, but I think it's important that you take a look at yourself in the mirror. And if it may not be an actual mirror, maybe it's in the business setting or your relationships, but you take a look at yourself and see the progress that you're making. But don't look too long because you got more work to do. But take a quick peek and say, okay, good, ready to work. You're doing good. And like I said, it's not just the gym; it's work, personal relationships, all that stuff, right?
I think the hardest thing is to turn the microscope on yourself, right? Because we all have things that we need to work on that are negative. Some things in my business life are great that then flow over into my personal life and aren't so great. Like we all have those things, and it's a delicate balance to look in the mirror without judgment and say like, this is what I need to work on, but not to dwell on it and beat yourself up over it, because you're a work in progress every day.
Right. It is that thing, right? As soon as it feels like people, once they get it through their head that, first of all, life is not fair and that you are not perfect. Once you get those things figured out, that's just a fact. Then you're so much better, right? Then you're going to look at those bad things. You're going to say, okay, well, there's a bad thing about me. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It just means that one area. Did I tell you the story about the empathy thing when I was on Survivor?
I don't think so.
Well, so when we were on Survivor, they do all these psych tests. I've told the story many times, so I'll be brief with it. But they do all these psych tests and everything, and then they sit down at the end of the testing and they go over all the results. And this really nice woman, the soft voice, like the therapist voice, and everything, she goes, "Tom, you have a hard time with empathy." And I swear to God, I was sitting there thinking, I'm not even totally sure I know what the word means. Like I seriously, I thought I had an idea. So I tried to trick her. I said, "So what's your definition of empathy?" And she starts dying laughing at me. She says, "You don't even know what it means, do you?" So we went through the whole empathy thing. And now I'm trying to be empathetic. And it's like the floodgates are open up. It's about figuring out when you can be empathetic and not. Because I just come from that background where, like, if somebody comes to me with a problem, I feel like, okay, I'm not going to sit there and feel sorry for this person. Let's find a solution to the problem. It's not like I'm not looking at it, but I guess I'm learning to be a little bit more, okay, I understand your pain and all that. But I have had times when I've tried to be empathetic and people have said to me, "Tom, stop. It's not working. It's just not." Yeah.
I think it's hard. Like I have times like that. I think it depends on the situation, right? Because you want to help people. That's great.
Yeah.
And to be helpful, you need to understand where they're coming from and what, their issues are and their struggles. But there does come a point, in my opinion, where you're like, all right, enough is enough. Let's like get into action. Like I feel bad, but we all have this stuff and let's keep it going. So you do have to have like a little bit of both. And I think, all this body image stuff, like we don't have to be perfect, but we should always be striving to be a little bit better. I don't think we need to just accept ourselves the way we are and say, well, that's me and that's what I'm always going to be. Yes, you're great. We're all great. Good job. Like good job at the things you're doing. But if you can't look at yourself and realize where you can tweak, then that's another problem in and of itself. So
and
it's all about balance.
Okay, so we're going to get really deep here. All right. So you're two divorced people. So don't you think, like, I find with me, like with a woman in my life, sometimes I'm like, it's harder for me to be that empathetic. I'm more like, okay, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I shouldn't have to say it. So let's get to the problem. Let's fix the problem. Right. And then maybe she just wants to vent sometimes too. Like that's where men really have a hard time when a woman, and I should say just that way. Maybe it goes the other way as well. But it's like understanding that the person just wants to vent right now,
I struggle with that too, and I'm a female, I'm a
Yeah.
woman, and I am a problem solver. So when someone is venting to me, I automatically go into help mode. And
Right.
something my ex used to hate about me. He's like, I just want to talk. Like,
Oh, okay.
please stop trying, like you're saying, stop trying to give me advice. But it's hard. Like when you are a go-getter,
Yeah.
you just kind of feel like that's how you're helpful, but not, you're right. Not everybody needs that. And sometimes you do have to just take a back seat and listen and let the other person
How
talk.
do you figure out when that time is though? Like there's times when the person comes to you, right? Because the person's coming to you with a problem and you want to help solve it, but then they really just want to vent. But then when you don't help them with the problem, you're thinking they just want to vent. They're going, well, aren't you going to help me solve the problem? Like it just seems
Well,
like
I
no
think
one.
communication is the key. And in my current relationship, I do this, right? I'm like, can I just talk? I just want to vent. Like, I don't want your advice. I just want to vent. And then if he's trying to vent to me, I'll say, like, do you want me to help you? Or you just want me to listen? So that way I know, because how
Yeah.
else would I know? I need to be like direct.
Okay.
So I'm more direct than most people, I would think.
Right.
And I think sometimes people don't know what to do with me because they're like, whoa, that's so honest.
Right.
But I think the best thing is to communicate and be
Yeah.
like, I could give you some advice right now, but if you want, I'll just be quiet
Right.
and
So
listen.
it's almost like before the person's in the mood to vent. Obviously, something's bothering them, they're irritated, or whatever. So it's almost better to have the rules kind of established beforehand, right? So that if the person venting, do you want me to like? Do you think though that you say to them ahead of time so everybody's calm? You say, do you want me to ask you while you're venting if you want to vent, or do you want me to just let you go and assume you're like?
That seems so unnatural though.
I know, but
Like pause, let's have a pre-discussion
yeah,
before you vent.
I just feel like because there's times like when somebody's venting, and I ask, I said, "Are you just wanting to vent?" And they'll go, "Oh, yes, I just vent. Can't you just leave me alone?"
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a very high emotion moment.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's a difficult thing to navigate. I think kind of you go with your gut feeling, and sometimes you're gonna fall on your face
yeah,
and piss the
that's,
other person off.
yeah,
But that's just life, right?
yeah. That is true. Yeah, you know, and that's a good point right there because you're trying so hard to make it perfect. It's just not going to be perfect, right? If somebody's got a problem and they're upset, like you can't do the right thing. It's not going to work.
On the line of perfection too, and you kind of touched on this earlier. I think that one thing that's really pivotal in creating a positive mindset is to manage your expectations with things,
Yeah,
because if you're expecting perfection, for example, since we're talking about that,
yeah,
you're obviously going to fail, and or you're going to be disappointed in some way by the other person. So I think just having like a more grounded, realistic version of what's happening is sometimes helpful, because then you could keep up the positivity instead of swinging
yeah.
from super positive to super negative.
Yeah, we. I do another podcast on Thursday morning with this Elaine that was on Survivor with me, and she's very funny. And she lives in Kentucky, and her partner were getting married 3 weeks ago. Now, I had planned on going to the wedding. They wanted me there. Her fiance had contacted me, wanted me to make a speech at the wedding, the whole bit. So I was planning on going. Now, Elaine doubted me the whole time whether I was going to go or not. It kind of goes back to when we went to LA for the finale. We were checking in at the hotel. I thought they had put me on the 11th floor. I thought the guy said the 11th floor. So Elaine asked me what floor I was on. I said the 11th floor. Turns out I was on like the 12th floor. So this is the first time I'd met her fiance. Fiance thought that I really didn't like Elaine and I was trying to hide from him or something. So there was this big running joke that I was saying I was coming to the wedding, but I wasn't going. Now I really was coming to the wedding, but then I realized like 3 or 4 days before I was going to leave that if I was going, it's in Kentucky, and I didn't realize Kentucky was on the list, that if once I came back from Kentucky, I'd have to quarantine for 2 weeks. So I contacted him right away, said, I can't make it to the wedding. So it was the first show after they got back from their honeymoon last Thursday. And she ripped into me for about a full hour. It was hilarious, funny, but it was like, there was no, I'm trying to really think to myself, okay, be empathetic, like but it was, she was not too happy with my decision to not go. So it was pretty funny.
Oh, it's a hard time. I think people have to realize that we all feel different ways and we all
Yeah.
have different concerns at this point, and you can't really expect everyone to feel and do the same things that you would feel and do.
Yeah,
But it's hard.
they're in rural Kentucky where, they didn't wear masks or anything like that. It's like, it's a whole different world. We're in the metropolitan area.
Yeah.
So
I
it
mean,
was,
they're so far removed from the center of it all. I mean, New York, where I am, is like I know you're in Connecticut, you're not that
yeah,
far away,
yeah,
but I mean, we were like the epicenter. So
yeah, yeah.
we have a totally different perspective on things.
Yes, absolutely. All right, we were going to talk a little bit of diet today too. We got into other stuff, which is fine. We touched on diet before. Like I've really gotten into this intermittent fasting now. Are you pretty familiar with like why intermittent fasting is so beneficial to us?
I
You, you-
am, yeah.
so well, here's the things I've learned. So I'm stubborn. So people have told me about intermittent fasting for years now, and I'm like, no, I know what I'm doing. I don't need to do intermittent fasting. So now, obviously, I do a little bit of research on it. And I go, okay, I see the benefits. I guess I always looked at intermittent fasting as just as a way to burn fat. But some of the things I realized once you get past that 12-hour window, I'll give you my theories, and we'll go back and forth. This is what I've learned. So your body is really made to heal. I don't think we realize that, like regenerate cells and everything. But when we have food inside our bodies and calories, our body's concentrating on burning up those calories in food, not concentrating on healing yourself. So once you get past that 12-hour window, so if you eat like at 8 o'clock at night and then you don't eat again until 8 in the morning, now your body starts to do all this healing stuff. So human growth hormone is more built in, is now more prevalent in your body. It regenerates cells in your brain and the rest of your body, and it also burns fat. So the longer you can go after that 12-hour window, the more the healing stuff goes on. And that was really amazing to me. I didn't understand
Yeah.
that. Again, I just thought the body fat. And I think the theory is a lot of people think, well, geez, I'm going to have no energy, whatever. But it seems like it's the exact opposite for me. I've got more energy now because I guess my body's healing itself. So
You don't get cranky?
I don't know. I don't get that. See, I think that's a. Do
Should
you
we
get?
ask someone else just to make sure?
Well, that's a good point. That's a very good point. I do. I'm locked away. I'm not around anybody. I go to the gym by myself. I'm running marks myself. Maybe I am cranky. Yeah. Well, I'm in a fast right now, and I feel like I'm in a great mood. I don't know.
No, you are. You
Yeah.
are.
Well, but it's
Um,
a good point, though. Do
I
you?
get cranky when I don't eat. I do, but similarly I eat very small portions at a time because I don't like the way I feel when my body is concentrating on breaking down this gigantic meal that I just had.
Right.
Like that's something I just learned through the years about myself. So now I eat like small portions throughout the day. I probably eat more frequently than other people, but I eat tinier amounts. So
Right.
that works for me because if I don't eat, I get cranky.
Oh, okay. So have you tried intermittent fasting?
I haven't, no.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't.
and think, you know what? This is a good point here too, and kind of what we touched on with diet last time, and you posted about this as well. We talked about this before the show. So I have my beliefs about intermittent fasting and what to eat and when to eat it and all this kind of stuff, and I have my discipline, getting up at 3:30 in the morning. And you brought up a good point that that doesn't mean that that's what everybody should strive to do with whatever it is, whether it's workouts. I work out on the Bosu ball and balance board and all that kind of stuff. So everybody's got to like say to themselves, okay, you're not going to be like Jessica Dennehy. You're not going to be like Tom Laidlaw. You're not going to be like some Navy SEAL that we have on. You just need, like you touched on before, you just need to be a better version of yourself every day, right? That's really should be the goal for everybody instead of trying to be like somebody else.
I think so. I mean, I coach my entrepreneurs to incorporate fitness into their life on a daily basis because I believe a routine is important for success. And I think that's pretty standard across the board. I think that everyone could really benefit from a routine, but that routine will be different depending on the person. So for me, I'm a very disciplined person. So I've never been a big dieter. I continuously watch what I eat. I have for so many years, but there are things that I indulge in on a weekly basis. Like I said last time, I don't have a cheat day, but there's a day every week where I eat a meal that I probably shouldn't and I don't feel guilty about it. I eat an Oreo here and there when my kids are snacking, and that's me because I know that I'm managing myself every day. Not everybody can do that,
Right.
and I think there is a lot of people are doing this 75 hard program now, which is very difficult, as the name suggests, and you can't cheat. And I think for some people who have difficulty getting in a routine, because not everyone is organized and disciplined, and I think dieting and these programs can be beneficial for someone who needs help
Right.
starting a routine.
Right.
and just getting into the mindset of I'm going to do this every day and I'm going to like wake up and start my day this way and eat this way. And,
Right.
I think that's beneficial to some people. So you really have to know yourself and be honest with yourself. It's not a competition like, oh, she's disciplined, so I'm going to say I'm disciplined. No, if you're not, just say it, because then we can make the program that's going to work for you instead of
That's a good
trying to
point.
fit you into a hole that you don't fit into.
Right. And I've made that mistake with people sometimes too, saying, okay, you need to change your life. You need to be rigid and all that kinds of stuff. And you're right. It's not everybody is like that. It's just not going to happen. So it's just that matter of getting better every day. I'm also like, not like if somebody wants to lose 20 pounds, like I'm not big on like getting on the scale every day and then, be so rigid and everything until you get to the 20 pounds. And then, because what are you going to do? I mean, if you can't maintain that, like I'd like people more to say, I want to have a healthy lifestyle. And along with that healthy lifestyle is me losing weight. And that 20 pounds comes off in 6 months, or whatever it is, it comes off in 6 months. But in the meantime, I've got this healthier lifestyle, right?
I believe the same thing. And that's why I think like getting into a routine with something is really helpful, because you want to be able to keep it off. And for me right now, I'm in maintenance mode, right? Like I got the tone that I want, I got to the weight that I want. And I kind of just work to maintain that every day. And a lot of people need to get to that point. And it's true. Obsessing over your weight every single day is not healthy either. But these crash diets, like I think diet for me, when I'm helping someone else, I am very cautious of what I suggest them to do, because you don't want them to get on this crash course.
Right.
And then when that's over, they just go back and revert to what it was before. Like whatever path they're on has to be one that is sustainable,
Right.
and that they can continue and strive for each day. And that's a big part of why people have a yo-yo going on, because they don't get into a program that makes sense for their regular life.
Right. And don't you think like you can really like reprogram your brain to live a different way? And it doesn't happen overnight. Same thing, you train your body. If you work out hard enough, you're going to take, if you're overweight or whatever, you're going to lose the weight, you're going to get more muscle tone. I think with your mind, it's the same thing. You can really retrain your mind. Like right now, you may say, oh God, I don't want to get up at, 6 o'clock in the morning. I currently get up at 7 o'clock. But I think once you're getting up at 6 o'clock, you're saying, no, I enjoy it. Like it's more flipping that switch to say, I enjoy getting up at 6 o'clock. I've got more time in my day. I feel better about myself. Right.
Yeah, that exact thing happened to me, because I was struggling with how to fit exercise in, now that I was a single mom and I'm getting my kids to school and I have to go to work after. And I took the leap and I was waking up at 7 and now I wake up at 5. And the first month that was really, really difficult, right? Because that's a big difference. But now if I sleep late, I don't feel as good about my day, because I didn't have that quiet time to do my fitness. And fitness is very calming. No matter what you do, you're letting that energy out and you're giving yourself time to care for yourself. And that changes the course of your day. So now I'm almost addicted to that feeling. So people are like, how do you wake up at 5? I'm like, if I don't, then I'm going to feel like, not as energetic and not as happy. And I believe that too. So I believe that your mind and your body get used to these things.
Yeah, I do by 3:30 thing. And I remember like I was always an early riser, but when I started this whole True Grit thing, I said, okay, I'm going to get that discipline goal. So I started at 3:30. And at first it was like, wow, that's cool. Up at 3:30. There was probably about a month there though. It's like, oh, what did I get myself into, But now it's like, I'm at the point where at 3:30. Yeah. I mean, if I sleep until my alarm's going off, like I'm in panic mode. Like I jump out of bed. I'm usually up by like 3:15 or something. Seriously, it's true. The alarm goes off. I go, what? It's 3:30, It's like,
what time do you go to bed at night?
You know what? It's funny. I know the studies talk about how important sleep is. So I don't ever want to say to people they shouldn't be sleeping, but man, I'll go to bed at 10 o'clock and that's fine. It's, I work from home. I mean, there are some days, not every day, where I could grab a 20-minute nap, but it's just, I've gotten to the point where, I really believe, and I know you do too, like my diet being so nailed down now, it makes me able to work better with less sleep. I was at this charity golf tournament the other day, a bunch of people around, and they're all wanting to know about True Grit Life and everything. And I was telling them, and sometimes people kind of laugh and don't believe this, but I don't know if I told you this, but I got glasses probably 30 years ago. I was nearsighted. So I needed them for watching hockey games, driving and everything. And since I've cleaned up my diet and my health is better, I don't need my glasses anymore. Like I feel like, I just think that's like, we talk about the healing powers of your body. and using your mind to start that whole process. I just think that's a huge part of it. So,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why people don't believe that until it happens to them, but you
yeah,
could see, you have that one person in your life who's like chronically depressed and
yeah,
you can see it in their body, in their
yeah,
eyes, in their energy level.
yeah,
Like the way that you think about things in your mind plays a gigantic
yeah,
role in what's happening to your body, and your diet of course does. That's an obvious one, right? You're actually putting in this fuel for your body. But you talk to yourself the most. The voice you hear the most is your own.
yeah,
So whatever you're saying to yourself, that is going to manifest in your body
right,
and in your energy, and you need to take that into consideration with every thought that you
right.
have, because every thought matters.
Right. And it's kind of like you give yourself a license to be a better person by putting in the things that you have to do, a better diet, the workouts, like even like in your relationships too. I think, you can't kid yourself. Maybe other people will overlook some problems, think, well, everything's good, whatever. But inside that you're not doing what you need to do to have that better life that you want to have, right? And I think it's even tougher now with all social media stuff because everybody's
Yeah.
taking pictures of how happy they are and everything's great and all that kind of stuff. Like you said before, it's not. I mean, people all have problems in their life, but the problem is sometimes that people look at that other person and go, wow, they're so happy. Why am I not that happy? Right.
Yeah, that comparison is difficult, but you
Yeah.
you can't do that to yourself. You're never going to be in a great place with someone else unless you're in a great place with yourself. It all starts with you,
Yeah.
because you can go through life every day, every minute and see something negative, or you could see a few negative things but see positive
Right.
more. And that's going to affect your entire day. So
Yeah.
just think about day in and day out you thinking all this negative stuff. It's going to affect your relationships, yourself, the people around you, if people want to be around you.
Yeah. Totally. I mean,
So
yeah, like, isn't it funny how when you're leading a positive life, you realize, I don't know how to say it, you see the negativity even more, right? Because you don't want to get wrapped up in it. You kind of like insulate yourself from that. So no, like more take the attitude. If somebody asks you if you do something, you say, yes, I can do it. Like to me, that's the kind of training you can do. Don't question whether you're good enough to do it or not. I say, yes, I can do it. And if I don't know how to do it right now, I will teach myself how to do it.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Not everybody has that mindset, but that is a true entrepreneur would be able to
Yeah.
say that, because they just want it. They want the positive
Yeah.
experience
Bring
of
it
doing
on.
something new
Yeah.
and
Totally.
challenging themselves.
What did we miss? We got you with your barber shop. We've got the lawyer stuff. We got the yoga. What
I
else
think
did
we
you have?
got everything.
That's it. You got nothing new
Mhm.
going on in the last couple
Oh
of weeks?
no, that's it. Nothing else. No.
Okay, good. That's enough. And how old are your kids again?
8 and 5.
That's cute. Very cute age.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's great. They're great. I mean, I have so much fun with them, but their homework is
All that
really
time.
out of control.
So they stay at home, homeschool?
They're not. They're in school full time,
Oh,
knock on wood for
okay.
now, unless, the school has a certain amount of cases.
Right.
But it's so much better for them. They learn so much more in a classroom than I could try to teach them while I work.
Right. No
It's
question.
impossible to homeschool and work full time.
What's funny? My boys are grown now. They're 30 and 27. And when I see people with little kids now, I think it's kind of good. All I ever see is all the good stuff. I don't remember about the sleepless nights and the being sick and all that kinds of stuff. I just remember that was a lot of fun back then. We had the motor home and we were going down to Florida and Niagara Falls and all that kind of stuff. And it was a blast. It was good.
Yeah, well, the 3 of us have a great time, seriously. We do so much adventurous things, and we just
That's
laugh a
good.
lot. We have dance parties every night, and
Oh, do
we're
you?
just
Nice.
silly.
Right?
We like to be silly. I try to teach them not to take themselves too seriously. There's a time to be serious, and then there's a time where you gotta let loose
Yeah.
and kinda just laugh at yourself and have
Yeah,
some
that's
fun.
good. We were like that with my boys. When I first got divorced, my boys were small. I didn't know how to cook at all. So I would have them on the weekend. I'd make hamburger helper one night, and then I'd make tuna noodles the next night. That was back and forth. That's all we would make. But it was, what, it was great because we started watching Emerald all the time, and we started cooking on our own. I was telling some of the story, like we loved Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we
Me
were,
too.
but we would get, the frozen turkey. We would get, stovetop stuffing, and the pre-made mashed potatoes. So we were eating all the stuff we wanted. We had jars, gravy and everything. But we would take the frozen turkey. You laugh at this. We'd take the frozen turkey and put it in the oven and cook it, frozen. So actually the turkey would come out fine, but then I would put my hand inside the turkey and all the giblets and the bag is in there. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why are they putting garbage in my turkey? I really didn't know what this stuff was. And finally somebody came over one time And I made that comment. I said, "Why are they putting garbage in my turkey?" And the person thought I was joking around. And they finally said, "Are you being serious?" I said, "No, I'm being serious." And he explained to me that it was the giblets.
That's
So
hilarious.
so
Cooking
it was kind of,
a great way to bond with your kids,
oh,
though.
it was unbelievable. Yeah, we ended up being like, now all three of us are great cooks now. We all love cooking and everything. So
That's
it's
awesome. Their wives are gonna thank you.
yeah, well, yeah. Well, the only thing is, with my boys are like me a little bit too. Like, it's okay. They're going to cook. Get out of the kitchen. You know, it's so. I guess.
I taught my kids to make fresh pasta, which they love making, and then we make cakes for their birthday every
Oh,
year.
nice,
We like that, do crazy decorations and stuff. So we have a lot of fun with that.
nice.
It
Fresh
gets
pasta.
messy. Yeah.
I've got a pasta maker I was given, and I haven't made the pasta yet. I didn't really do that. You can really make it healthy too, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely goes down a lot easier and like you feel a lot better. It's lighter,
Yeah.
than pasta you buy, and you can
Oh,
control what goes in there. So
okay.
it is better to make everything if you can.
Good. Good deal. Good. All right. So great to have you again. Good talk here. We
Thank you
didn't.
for having me.
No, my pleasure. We'll do it again in another couple of weeks or whatever.
Sweet.
So in the meantime, so I'm gonna have to keep track of how many podcasts you're on. How many you got? You got the one you and I do one. You've been on. I've seen a couple other ones too, right?
Yeah, I think I have about 5 now that I've been on a few times. So
I'm gonna have to get to 6 then. If you're got 5,
yeah.
I'm gonna beat you. It's a little competition, okay?
All right. Sounds good. I like healthy competition.
All right, there you go. Good to see you again. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.